Yo guys, real quick before the video starts, I have a quick announcement. Me and the boys, we finally made the group channel Kyle Crew, where we plan to put a bunch of videos, not just gaming, but maybe some vlogs. So if you guys want to check that out, the link will be in the description if you can't find it on the YouTube search bar. Also be sure to check out my homie Dion, which is who I'm interviewing in this video, aka BlakBlxxm. He's been doing music for quite a while now, and honestly, like, it's really good and he puts a lot of effort into it. So you should check him out, especially if you're running out of music, I guess. Well, with that being said, please enjoy the video and check out BlakBlxxm.
I don't know what love is. Based on my mind, I let my heart speak, but it's harder to find the exact answer on what love is.
Why the name BlakBlxxm? Like, does it have any origin or backstory or like any special meaning to it?
Okay, that's a good question. Honestly, okay, so I started off like it honestly it's like a big story. Like I started off as as Project Kid, and then I went from Kid to Prophet, then DL, then a whole bunch of other stuff. So, and when I was Project Kid, I would always tell people like I'm a work in progress, so that's why I call myself Project Kid. But now it's like, now that my writing style and everything else is now getting better, it's like I honestly feel like I'm blooming into something. Like it's almost like a caterpillar, blooming goes into the cocoon, and then come out a butterfly, and it's just the simple fact of like that's just kind of what I feel like, especially because again my rap style and everything else has gotten better, especially in my life too. So that's why it's just BlakBlxxm, and then I'm black. So
When did you start writing music, and like why did you start writing music?
2014, and I was
Yeah.
going through a lot. My parents were getting divorced at the time, and I was going through a lot with myself. I wasn't really bullied as a kid, like that wasn't really something I had to worry about. But at the same time, like I guess I was just going through something with myself, trying to find acceptance. So, and the way that I found acceptance through myself is just music. Like I would write for a long time, and I would record different stuff on like it's like an app on a phone. I would record stuff like that, and it's nothing serious, but it would just keep me okay, so I'm not lashing out on everybody.
Yeah. And what is the process of making that music that, is an inspiration to not only yourself, but to others around you? And by the process of making music, I mean, like, do you have certain writing habits, or like, is there a certain process of when you're making a beat, or like a selections of instrumentals?
A lot of it has to do with a lot of plugins. uh I mean, I rarely use a sample. I like getting my stuff from scratch. I like coming up with creative ideas from scratch, because for a while I was using free type beats on YouTube, and then basically now noticing and realizing, because I have a few songs that on with free type beats, realizing I couldn't put them out on any mainstream platforms was a big issue, because you're not really gonna get listens on SoundCloud. I know that now. I mean, you'll get listens, but not like you'll get them on Spotify, Apple Music, and anything like that. So that was the inspiration. As far as the writing process goes, sometimes you get writer's block. Sometimes you're just not in the mood. Sometimes you can be like, I'm not in the mood, and then like 2 seconds later, oh, never mind, I'm back, and then you get right back into it. I guess the point that I'm just making is it's a long process, man. It's something you just got to be really patient for. It's something that you have to have really just a lot of patience to just sit here for hours and do whatever you do on your computer and have it come out, correctly, or have it come out as something beautiful. Because it's like, honestly, like nobody wants to put out anything half. Nobody wants to really put out anything that's like half worked. Like you can't really put out anything and you've only put in 50% of effort. So I just believe that in order to sit here through the process and all that good stuff, you want to sit here and give 100% effort. So in order to do that, sometimes it takes hours, sometimes it takes days, weeks, months, however long it'll take you to get it right, because the first time you want to do it right. I mean, not saying that failure isn't bad, which failure is pretty good, especially like for certain people, because I'd say for all people failure is pretty good, because it allows you to critique your mistakes that you made the first time.
So would you say like you're kind of a perfectionist when it comes to your music? You don't want to put 50, but your 100 also has to be like something that you're proud with? Is that like what you would say?
Oh yeah, spot on. spot on. Exactly what I would say. I mean, like, I don't think there's a person on this earth that is well, you know what? I'm not gonna say that because there are some people that are down with the bare minimum. I mean, it's kind of like schools. Like, are you okay with C's or do you want to try to get A's and B's? It's like, but with that try, there's a lot of effort put into it. And whether your efforts are recognized in the end is really deals with you. Because at the end of the day, like, I mean, we us two are in the room. You have on a t-shirt, I have on a suit and tie, trying to get the job, and you get the job. It's like, well, my efforts weren't really recognized because I did 100%. You gave like 50%, 75%, but you still managed to get what I wasn't getting. But the simple, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, you got to be happy with what you're doing. You can't really focus on what the next guy is doing, because at the same time, it's like, really, I mean, there's no other way to really put it, to be honest with you. Like, so I would say, yeah, I'm a perfectionist when it comes to my music and anything else that I do. I like giving 100%, or I at least like feeling like I gave 100%.
Yeah. What was the first song that you released, and what was the inspiration of writing that song, or what was that song about?
The first song that I ever wrote in my life was called ALY. It was Almost Lost You. And basically, the inspiration came from when I was an infant. My mom had took me home for like 2 weeks, and there was a point where literally, like, just getting home, I guess I stopped breathing. And then luckily my uncle was there to, bring me back. But she, ever since then, she would tell me, like, oh yeah, like, you died for like 15 minutes, and at that point I almost lost you, so I took that and I used that as an inspiration, to the song, and just writing about what my mom's been through and how I'm so thankful. And so that song is pretty great to me.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's pretty sincere. And it's a really, like, meaningful message, and it's really rare, especially nowadays with, like, just trap music or whatever, and songs that are played on the radio that don't really have that much of a big meaning. So that's pretty impressive that was actually one of your first songs that you decided to write. So yeah, that's
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Would you say that's your favorite song? And if not, which one of your many songs is your favorite, and why?
No, actually, as weird as it might sound, no, that's not my favorite song that I've ever made. My favorite song is called John 15:16. When I was a junior in high school, I had different friends, going to school, and I met this chick who she had been well, I can't really put her business out there like that, but she had been touched in the foster system, and there was just certain events that had happened while she was in the foster system. So her telling me this, I'd got inspiration off of that. And yeah, I mean, like I said, John 15:16, that's my number one song today. So
Promise me you'll never tell nobody, cause I'm starting to feel terrible about the things I did. Started to undress you just.
Does your family make music? Like, did someone in your family give you that push to make music, or was it on your own, or what gave you kind of that motivation to start making music?
Well, my family is naturally musically inclined. I mean, but as far as music goes, we've been singing. Like, my uncle Doom actually had us in his choir when he used to be when he owned his own church. He was a pastor, and yeah, he had us there. And then from there we would do little talent shows with my mom and my dad, and then talent shows with just my mom, and stuff like that. But it was so crazy because I would have never thought that I would start rapping and people would actually like what I did, because as a child I didn't really interact when it came to the talent shows. I didn't interact with them. I would just watch, and my family would ask, like, oh, well, why don't you try? And it's like, no, I don't want to. And it's like, why not? Like, I don't know, I just don't want to, so it's crazy, like, how the guy that didn't want to do it is now doing it. And it's like, again, giving 100% at it, so.
Yeah, because it's something you love to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Does your family know that you make music? And if they do they support you?
Oh, 100%. I've told my mom just about everything that I've ever had in all of my phones. As far as lyrics wise, I've showed her basically all my songs. I mean, the only thing she hasn't heard is what's coming out, but other than that, she's heard everything. My brother's very supportive when it comes to my music too. My sister is very supportive. Well, I have a lot of sisters, but they're basically all supportive. I most of them, they're all supportive. My girlfriend's very supportive. Her parents are supportive. So it's just a whole line of people that honestly support me, and so.
Have you ever catched any of them like listening to your music?
Oh yes, yes, yeah. Yeah, 100%, 100% all the time. It's actually crazy because in school there was I told this kid about my music and whatever else, and then there he goes, he was bumping John 15:16 in school in the quad, and it was just like wow, like. And then I had this other kid, had this other friend, he used to scratch in school, believe it or not, and literally he's like playing different techno songs, and he has his whole laptop get up and his setup, literally, and I'm just like okay, cool. And then I had this other song called Picture Perfect, and then out of nowhere I'm hearing my voice and I'm like, yo, like he's not gonna do it. And then out of nowhere, like it just drops, and then he just starts playing the song, and then people are actually looking, bobbing their heads like, hold on, who is this? And then people are pointing at me, and then it's like everybody's like, that's you? It's like, yeah, like, oh, okay, like that's pretty, it's pretty straight, whatever. So just as far as that goes, yeah, they do it, and it's a beautiful feeling.
What is it that makes you different from other artists?
The time that I take in my music, my craft, I feel like I used to watch a lot of J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Common, people like Mos Def, and Tyler the Creator, especially that guy. I used to watch a lot of, well, I still do. I watch a lot of their interviews, and how do I say? Your craft is only gonna be as good as you make it. So if you spend 5 minutes in the studio every single day, right? And it's like you're really not getting anything done. I mean, obviously, your verses aren't even like that good if you're only in there for 5 minutes. There's no way that you're just a top-notch artist and you get your verses done first time, spot on. You don't have to redo it. There isn't certain things that you want to critique. That's just like I guess you would say like a 5-minute rapper, But I take time, weeks, sometimes a month, not on one song, but on multiple songs. It's just because I know what I want, and I also know what I want to say. So, I would feel like that's what will make me a little more different than your average rapper or artist. As far as lyrically wise goes, again, like the people that I look up to has made it a big inspiration on that part of my life too, especially when it comes to writing, because it's like the topic, the trend that goes on nowadays is gonna die out. And then it's like, well, then what do you have? You still have the system treating kids wrong. You still have the system, killing black people. You still have black people killing black people, Mexican people killing Mexican people, white people killing, and so on and so forth, and it's just that's what's real. The money, the fame, the girls, all of that stuff fades away. So I feel like just by me knowing what I want to talk about, especially it being as meaningful as that, it'll last. And that's what makes it like just me different as an artist.
Yeah, and to follow up, how often do you like create music, whether it be writing or making like the instrumental? For example, would you say, is it maybe a few times like a week, or is it every day a certain amount of hours put in?
Oh, that's every day, every single day. The inspiration never stops. Nothing really ever stops, to be honest. Like, it's an everyday thing, like it's, especially when you have what you want to, especially when you know what you want, nothing ever truly stops.
Yes. And what are you currently working on right now as far as music goes?
Okay, so what I'm working on is it's called Things Aren't What They Seem. And I mean, I don't know if you've seen the album cover on Instagram, but it has like the ocean, and the ocean's upside down. And, that has a deeper meaning in itself. I'm not going to say, what it means, but, if you want to know, you got to look it up. That has a very spiritual meaning behind it. So, and then it's a 10-song album. Everything that I see around me, of course, things aren't what they seem, and that's what it's about. People take I feel like the world is based off of imagery and feelings. Things aren't factual anymore. Things aren't, you can't literally say anything literal anymore. Everything kind of has to be subliminal, because if it's too real for certain people are afraid, because some people either don't like real or don't know real. So, usually anything that people are afraid of, they fight it, without even truly understanding it. So, yeah, that's just what it's called. Things aren't what they seem, and It's a 10 song album. I'm gonna have you know, some little sloppers on there, you know, and then I'm gonna have, you know, some thinking songs, and then kind of vibe, and then like a few sad songs, and you know, I mean, you'll hear it when it comes out. So.
Well, let me tell you, little nigga, it's gon' get him something. Never complain and never ask for nothing. Showing other brothers trying to get it, they could work for something. More peer pressure, dodging bullets, don't wanna pull it. Forward wall screaming, nigga, don't do it.